In a quiet corner of the Milky Way, Earth received a strange message. It didn't come from any human colony nor from a space station. It came from deep unknown space. The signal was loud, old, and desperate. The message was not a warning. It was a request for help. From a dragon, not a small dragon. Not a flying lizard from stories. This dragon was planet-sized. He was once the terror of 10 galaxies. His name was Gorish the Flame King. Long ago, Gorish burned stars with his breath and ate moons like candy. Armies feared him. Planets bowed to him, but not anymore. Now, Gorish couldn't move. He was too fat. So fat, he couldn't fly. Couldn't roar. Couldn't even scratch his own back. He had not moved for 421 years. Aliens from his home system tried everything. Doctors, machines, even gravity magic, nothing worked. He only kept growing. He had eaten his own palace, his royal guards, and even 2 satellites. At last, the alien emperor sent a message to Earth. Humans, the voice said, you are the most stubborn, crazy species in the galaxy. You lift metal for fun, you run for no reason, you punch bears. We need you. Please, send us your best trainer. Earth laughed at first. Then they got serious. A meeting was held. Scientists, generals, and world leaders gathered. The dragon was dangerous. If he sneezed too hard, he could break a planet. If he got angry, he might eat Earth. But there was one chance. Send someone who could train him. Not with weapons. With sweat. They chose Jack Manson, ex-Marine, world-class bodybuilder. Personal trainer to Olympic champions. Also known as the human treadmill. Jack didn't smile much. He didn't like politics, but he liked a challenge. When they told him the mission, he chewed his gum, looked up, and said, Fat dragon? No problem. Just needs push-ups and pain. So Jack was launched in a titanium ship with protein bars, heavy chains, and 80s workout music. After 6 days, he arrived near planet Corthan 7, the home of Gorish. Jack stepped out. What he saw made him stop and whistle. The dragon wasn't sleeping. He was the mountain. A huge, red-scaled body lay across 5 hills. His belly covered a lake. His tail was stuck inside a crater. His mouth was open, snoring loud enough to shake the clouds. Holy crap, Jack muttered. This guy's a whole gym on legs. Alien engineers met him. They wore suits, masks, and worry on their faces. Human trainer, one said. You must be careful. He once roasted an army because they disturbed his nap. Jack didn't listen. He walked up to the dragon's nostrils. They were as big as houses. He took out a whistle and blew it hard. Whee! The sound echoed. The ground shook. Gorish opened one eye, thought it was yellow, full of hunger and laziness. Jack shouted, Wake up, you lazy lizard. The dragon blinked. Then a deep, thunderous voice came from his throat. Who dares disturb my 3rd nap of the day? I'm your trainer, Jack said. And I'm here to kick your butt back into shape. The dragon laughed. It sounded like thunder rolling over dead cities. I have eaten kings, burned ships. You are small, Jack smiled. Yeah, but I lift heavy things. And soon you will too. The dragon rolled slightly, causing a mini earthquake. I am tired, Gorish said. I am heavy. No excuses, Jack said. Today you stand up. You've been sitting for 400 years. Enough. The dragon growled. I can't. Jack took out a protein shake, climbed onto the dragon's snout, and shoved the bottle between his teeth. You can, and you will. For a moment, silence. Then the dragon licked his lips. What is this? He asked. Earth protein, Jack said. Chicken, eggs, fire ants, and comet juice. I like it. Good, because if you don't stand, I'll feed this to a space tiger instead. The dragon's eye twitched, muscles deep in his ancient body tried to move, one leg shifted. A rumble rolled across the ground. Alien watchers gasped. Is he moving? Jack stood tall on the dragon's nose and shouted, Get up, you giant lizard. Or I swear I'll make you do burpees for a century. Then slowly, very Slowly, G, or rash began to rise. Asterisk 12. Alien satellites melted in 3 seconds. Not because of war, not because of a weapon, but because Gorash, the dragon, tried to yawn while doing his first stretch in 400 years. From space, it looked like a small sun had exploded. Jack Manson didn't panic. He just wiped the sweat off his neck and said, "Okay, no more yawns during." "Warm up," Goresh groaned. His voice rumbled like an ancient volcano. "My bones feel like frozen stars." Jack smirked. "Then we'll melt into with fire, big guy." The training had officially begun. It wasn't easy. The dragon's muscles were buried under centuries of fat. His body was stiff like stone, his back had craters, and his belly made mountains look small. Every time he tried to move, something cracked, either his bones or a nearby building. Jack had to be smart. So he started with the basics. 1. Alien yoga. 2. Heat-based cardio. 3. And Jack's homemade protein shakes. The first shake nearly caused a planetary panic. Jack mixed ingredients from across 3 solar systems. Lava beans from Mercury 9, crushed meteor shells, solar milk, and a hint of Earth peanut butter. He called it molten muscle shake. When Goresh took his first sip, he paused. His eyes lit up. His scales rippled. And then, boom, he accidentally burped fire so hot it carved a new canyon into the side of his own planet. Aliens screamed. Jack didn't move. He just pointed a finger at Goresh's mouth and said, "Control the flame." "No gains without discipline." Goresh grunted. "It tastes powerful." "Good," Jack said. "You want to be strong again?" "You listen to me?" The dragon looked at the tiny human and, for the first time, didn't laugh. He nodded. Training. Continued. Week 1 goals. Stand up without shaking the crust of the planet. 10 tail stretches. Breathing fire without destroying atmosphere. No midnight asteroid snacks. But there were problems. Big ones. Problem. #1. The dragon's laziness. Every time Jack turned around, Goresh was napping again. Sometimes with an entire mountain on his belly, like a blanket. So Jack got creative. He hired a group of small robot drones called the Pain Patrol. Flying fitness bots that poked the dragon's tail every time he closed his eyes. "Wake up." "Do SQUATS." They yelled in high-pitched voices. It worked. Sort of. Problem number 2, the smell dragons don't sweat like humans. They steam. Goresh's exercise clouds were so thick, they blocked 2 moons. His sweat was acidic. It melted 6 dumbbells. And gave Jack a can. So Jack made him a new suit, fireproof, acid-resistant, with a logo, "Pain is Power." Goresh liked it. "I look shiny," he said. "You look like a legend in progress," Jack replied. Problem number 3, the galaxy's laughter. Other alien species started watching the training through long-range cameras. They laughed. A dragon doing push-ups, human madness. He can't even do 1 sit-up without crushing a valley. Some made memes. Some made jokes. Some even bet money on how long before Goresh quit. Jack didn't care. He looked up at the stars and shouted, "Keep laughing. This dragon's gonna burn galaxies with abs." And slowly, something began to change. Goresh moved faster. His neck cracked less. His tail no longer crushed cities when he wagged it, even stopped asking for space chocolate snacks. One day, during training, Goresh asked Jack, "What does Earth music sound like?" Jack smiled. He put on his old cassette player and played 1990s hip-hop beats. The dragon listened. Then his claws began to tap. Then his tail started moving. Bend. He danced. The galaxy went silent for a moment, watching the most feared monster in space. Doing squats and OUALKS. Jack folded his arms. "That's right, sweat with style." By the end of the week, Goresh had lost 12,000 tons. His flame breath could now roast a comet without melting the sky. And for the first time in 400 years, he smiled. Not an evil, world-burning smile, a proud one, but far away, in the shadows of a forgotten star system. A dark figure watched the footage. He was tall, armored, and angry. "The dragon trains with humans," he growled. He was supposed to destroy Earth, not dance to it. He pressed a button on his throne. Send the challenge. Let's see if their training can survive the fire of real battle. The galaxy hadn't seen a meteor storm in 200 years, but today one was coming, not from space, but from the dragon's push-ups every time Gorash dropped his massive chest to the ground and pushed back up. Shockwaves rolled across the atmosphere. Tiny moons shook, volcanoes danced. Clouds ran away in fear. A team of alien scientists in orbit stared at the readings. Sir, one said, this dragon is losing weight. Not possible, said the Emperor. Check again. I did. His stomach is now the size of only 2 continents. He's transforming. Back on the planet, Jack Manson stood with arms crossed, wearing sunglasses and a fireproof vest. All right, Big Red, he said. Time for the next level. Today, we burn the galaxy fat. Gorish grunted. His wings stretched wide, sending hot air across the mountains. A river evaporated nearby. I feel lighter, the dragon said. I can smell the sky again. That's not the sky, Jack said. That's your own armpit. Don't worry, we'll fix that too. Training Phase 3, Galactic Cardio Jack, had built something insane. A giant treadmill made from asteroid belts, tied together with space cables, orbiting the planet like a ring. Powered by 3 black holes, named the Run of Shame. Climb on, Jack told him, and don't stop running. Not until your scales shine like armor. Goresh looked at the track that had circled the planet twice. He raised one eyebrow. This is a joke? Jack smiled. No, it's leg day. The training began. Goresh ran slow at first. Every step shook mountains. Every breath lit clouds on fire. But you didn't stop. Aliens from nearby planets watched in awe. Is he running by the stars? He's not even eating between sets. Each day, the workouts got harder. Meteor lunges, plasma ball, crunches, space jump, burpees, fire, breath control. No planets allowed to burn. And Jack, still human, still small, rode a hover bike beside him, yelling instructions through a speaker. Push harder. Faster. You want respect. Earn it. Sometimes Goresh roared back. Sometimes he wanted to quit. But then he'd remember who he was before. The Flame King. Feared by galaxies, and he kept running. Then came the fire test. A giant asteroid made of frozen dark matter was launched toward the planet as part of the trial. Jack looked up. Think you're ready? Goresh narrowed his eyes. Give me the word. Burn it? The dragon roared, a deep, powerful sound not heard in centuries, and let out a flame, so hot it turned the asteroid into glowing dust. Before it reached the atmosphere, the alien generals watching from above fell silent. Is that ... joy? One whispered. He's enjoying it. Meanwhile, in a secret galaxy, a masked alien warlord named Krivok, the Iron Burner, watched the footage. His claw tightened around a cup of molten oil. This human turned the dragon into a clown. He growled. He was born to conquer, not jog. His second in command, a robot with red eyes, spoke. Shall we send a message? Krivok nodded. Yes, a challenge. Let's see if this new Goresh has what it takes to survive. The message arrived during cooldown stretches. Goresh was balancing on one leg, trying alien yoga. Jack's communicator beeped. A deep voice spoke. Goresh, you are invited to the Galaxy Burn Trial. 7 death zones. 1 winner. If you survive, you earn respect. If you fail... Earth burns. Jack went cold. Sounds like a trap. Goresh growled. Sounds like a test. Your choice, Jack said. But win or lose, I'm riding with you. Goresh stood tall, wings glowing, eyes sharp. I accept. The trial begins in 72 hours. Location. Unknown opponents. Unknown rules. None prize, redemption, or destruction, but one thing was clear. The dragon was no longer lazy, and the human, he had awakened a legend. Asterisk, it started with a single slice of cake. Not a normal cake. This one glowed with dark sugar from a forbidden planet. Its icing whispered. Its sponge was baked with time-warping syrup. And it was delivered in silence. No one saw who left it. No one knew how it passed the scanners. But it appeared right on Gorish's meal plate, the one Jack strictly controlled. At first. Gorish stared at it. It smelled like forgotten dreams and melted galaxies. Stomach made a noise. His muscles, newly earned, twitched. He heard Jack's voice in his head. You touch junk food. You burn your gains. But the cake whispered louder. Just one bite. 12 minutes later. Jack returned from a strategy meeting with alien generals. He froze at the door. Gorosh sat in the middle of the training arena. Chocolate smeared across his snout. The cake? Gone. The air smelled like betrayal. Jack dropped his data pad. No. Gorosh looked up, eyes wide, caught like a child. I was hungry. Jack stepped forward, slow and cold. You had 5 asteroid protein bars and a volcano shake this morning. But this was sweet. Jack pointed at his stomach. You feel that? That's regret. Now get up. I can't. Gorosh rolled to the side. His tail knocked over a small building. The cheat hit hard. Within 1 hour. Gorosh gained 4,000 tons, lost 6% of his muscle tone, snored twice during stretches, and worst of all, his flame went dim. Jack climbed onto a speaker tower and grabbed the mic. He didn't yell. He whispered, You think one cheat day is harmless? This is how it starts. One slice becomes weakness. The silence was heavier than Gorish's belly. I can't do this anymore. Gorish muttered. You can, Jack said. But you're scared. I'm not scared. You're scared of being better. That hit deep. The dragon's giant eye blinked. Then he turned away. Later that night, as stars moved across the alien sky, Jack sat alone on a floating platform. Above the arena, he looked at his old military badge. You've tamed tanks, he whispered to himself. You've trained super soldiers, but you're losing to a sugar-loving space lizard. Behind him, he heard wings. Heavy, slow. Gorish landed, his head low. I'm sorry, the dragon said. I miss the taste of easy things. Jack looked at him. Easy things never made legends. A long pause. Gorish raised his head. His flame flickered. Train me, harder, smarter, no more shortcuts. Jack smiled. Good, because tomorrow we're doing lava interval sprints. The comeback was brutal. Jack made Gorish carry boulders from the planet's core to its icy poles, all without snacks. He made him sweat fire while standing on one claw. He reinstalled the pain patrol drones, this time with motivational insults. Like, no pain, no planet saved. Cheaters eat dirt, not cake. You're slower than a space snail. Gorish didn't complain. He pushed, harder than ever. But something darker was happening. Far beneath the training arena. A tiny device blinked. A tracking bug hidden inside the cake box, transmitting data back to an enemy ship. Krivik, the iron burner, watched the screen. So the human forgave him. His second in command leaned in. They're stronger than ever. Krivik grinned. Good. Let them think they're ready. I want to destroy them after they taste hope. He pressed a button. Send in the spy fit squad. Let's make sure their final test is their last. Back on the planet, Gorish completed a 9-hour gravity run while carrying a moonstone on his back. He collapsed near Jack's hoverbike, steam rising from his mouth. Jack threw him a towel the size of a spaceship wing. You earned your fire today, Jack said. Gorish smiled. I think I hate you. Jack nodded. Perfect. That means we're friends now. Suddenly, alarms blared. Flashing red lights cut through the sky. Alien generals rushed to screens. Jack's communicator buzzed. Unknown ships entering orbit. Unmarked. Moving fast. Gorish stood, his wings unfolding with a fiery stretch. Jack looked up, his eyes cold. Looks like someone didn't like your progress. Gorish growled. Let them come. I don't eat cake anymore. I eat fear. The stars were watching, but they didn't blink. They were afraid. Below them, on the dark edge of Corthan 7, a giant dragon stood still. Too still. His eyes were glowing. His wings were wide. His chest rose like a mountain about to erupt, and next to him was silence. No cheers. No training music. No Jack. All they smoke. 10 minutes earlier. The enemy came like shadows wrapped in lightning. The spy-fit squad, Krivok's elite attackers, moved fast without warning. Half robot, half warrior. They looked like gym machines had joined the military. They didn't want war. They wanted chaos. And they came to break the dragon's will. Their leader, a tall alien with metallic arms, landed first. He raised a device, pressed one button, and said, "Activate Project Monster." Inside Gorish's brain, a switch clicked. His heart skipped. Memories flooded in. 1,000 battles. 1,000,000 screams. The taste of destruction. The joy of fire, something old, something dark inside him. Woke up. He dropped the weight he was lifting. His eyes narrowed. His muscles, T-E and S-. Jack ran out of the training bunker, shouting, "Goresh, don't listen to them." Too late. A burst of flame exploded from the dragon's mouth. Not training fire, but war fire that had burned the sky purple. The spy-fit squad laughed. "Yes, you remember now. You're not a gym pet. You're the king of monsters." Goresh took a step forward, then another, then he roared. Waves of flame shot out. One mountain collapsed. Aliens ran in fear. Even the pain patrol drones fled screaming. Jack stood in his path. "You've come too far? Don't go back." But Goresh didn't see Jack. He saw only threats. Enemies, weakness. He raised a claw. The size of a spaceship. Jack didn't move. "Hit me if you want," Jack said. "But if you do, you're not a legend. You're just a big sad lizard." Something cracked. Not in the ground. In Goresh's mind. He froze. His fire paused. A war. Inside his chest. The monster wanted chaos. But the new Goresh remembered. Training, push-ups, sweat, laughing at hip-hop beats, the cake, the shame, the comeback. And then he screamed, not a roar. A scream of pain. Flame shot into the sky and vanished. The spy-fit squad prepared to attack. Jack shouted, "Don't. Let them own your fire." Goresh turned his head slowly toward the enemy. His eyes clear. Voice steady. "You came too late." He took one deep breath and launched himself into the air. For the first time in 600 years, the dragon flew. Not clumsily, not barely. He soared. Wings cutting through space like blades of fire. The spy-fit squad followed. They shot missiles, lasers, mind beams. Nothing worked. Goresh spun, burned, dodged, and crushed with every punch. He shattered old doubts. With every flame, he erased the monster they wanted him to be. On the ground, Jack watched through binoculars. "Show." He whispered. "Show 'em you're not their weapon anymore." One final enemy remained. Krivok appeared through a warp gate, floating above the planet. He looked down at Goresh. "You've changed, but you still have power. Why waste it on peace?" Goresh hovered in the sky. "Because peace takes more strength than war." "Wrong answer," Krivok said, launching a black hole grenade. Goresh caught it in his claw, held it, crushed it. The explosion never came. Only silence, only victory. Later, back at the gym crater, Goresh landed softly. Jack was waiting, arms crossed. "You almost turned back into a monster." "I know," Goresh said, "but you stopped yourself." Goresh nodded. "Because you made me remember, I'm more than my past." Jack smiled. "You're not just strong now. You're in control." The dragon looked at the stars above. "I think I'm ready for the trial." Jack climbed onto his back. "Then let's show the galaxy what happens when a monster becomes a legend." Asterisk. The starting line wasn't on a track. It was on the edge of a dying star. The heat could melt ships. The light could blind gods. And the silence? It was waiting for thunder. 7 racers floated in orbit. Each one had destroyed planets. Each one had flown faster than sound, light, even gravity. Each one wanted to be feared, but only one had trained with a human, and only one was a dragon. Gorish hovered at the edge of the glowing solar storm. His scales shimmered like forged steel. His breath was fire and focus. Jack sat on a rocket saddle, strapped between his wings, holding a mic. This isn't just a race, Jack said through the cum. This is history. This is your final set. Gorish didn't answer. He just nodded, slow and sure. The race judge, a floating ice sphere, announced rules none, obstacles all, prize, respect of the galaxy, and the safety of Earth. Countdown begins. 3. Jack tightened his grip. 2. Gorish narrowed his eyes. 1. Go. And the galaxy exploded. The racers took off. Lights bent. Wormholes opened. Time warped. Planets shook as cosmic jets fired at full power. One racer, a cybernetic hawk from the Ice Nebula, shot ahead. Another, a comet beast, bounced off moons like stepping stones. But Gorish? He vanished. Not forward. Up. Jack shouted into the wind. Where the heck are you going? Gorish answered, shortcut. Through the sun. Jack blinked. Through? Are you insane? No, the dragon growled. I'm trained. Inside the star. Gorish flew through pure plasma. Old Gorish would have burned. But not now. His body had changed. His mind was stronger. Jack's protein shakes had lava fiber. His wings were armored by heat reps. And his fire burned hotter than the sun around him. He broke through the star's backside like a missile. 3 racers crashed trying to follow. Checkpoint 1. Meteor maze. Sharp rocks spinning at light speed. Death in every direction. Gorish didn't slow down. He remembered the agility drills Jack forced him to do on floating treadmills with lasers. He danced through the maze like a sky serpent. One tail swipe knocked a racer into a black hole. Jack grinned. Who's the clumsy lizard now? Checkpoint 2, the Void River. A silent stretch of pure dark energy. No light. No direction. Only fear. Jack couldn't see anything. Where are we? Gorish said nothing. He closed his eyes. He listened. Not with ears, but memory. Jack's voice from old training echoed in his head. When you're lost, don't stop. Breathe. Move forward. Trust your grind. Gorish roared. Light returned, and the void split in two as he broke through. Final stretch. The gravity gauntlet. The finish line floated above a collapsed star. Its pull crushed ships. Time bent. Space screamed. One racer tried to cross, and was snapped into atoms. Jack gulped. We can't fly through that. We're not flying, Gorish replied. We're lifting. He dove downward toward the black core. Building speed. Faster. Jack held his breath. Now. Gorish shouted. He snapped open his wings, redirected the pull, and launched upward using the star's own gravity. They spun, burned, and roared through the pain. They crossed the finish line upside down, on fire. And 12 seconds ahead of second place. Silence. Then. Dash. Cheering. Not from Earth. Not just from fans. From across the galaxy. Aliens who once feared the dragon now chanted his name. Rash. Rash. After the race, cameras floated close. An alien. Reporter asked Jack, is this the same dragon who once destroyed 5 moons for fun? Jack smirked. No, that dragon's dead. This one eats gravity for breakfast. Later that night, Gorish sat quietly beside a glowing lake on KORT. Hun-7. Jack joined him. No training today, Jack said. You earned your cooldown. The dragon looked up at the stars. Do you think they'll ever really forgive me? Jack shrugged. Maybe not all of them. But you're not racing for them? You're racing for the one person you haven't destroyed. Who? Jack smiled. Yourself. They found the statue buried in sand. A giant figure, wings spread wide, eyes made of star glass. One claw pointed to the sky. The other rested on the shoulder of a tiny human figure standing beside him. Hand raised, holding a whistle. No nameplate. No. Flag. Just a single carved word on the base. Discipline. The young explorer brushed off more dust. Her voice shook. This isn't a statue. It's a memory. Year 4125. Planet New Earth Archive Colony 7. The galaxy had changed. Empires had fallen, new ones had risen. Planets had been lost, discovered, renamed, but whispers remained of a dragon who once trained with a human, of a creature born for destruction who chose growth, of a time when fire didn't destroy, it inspired Dot in a holographic library. Deep under the colony, a child sat on the floor watching an ancient video on screen. A red dragon was doing lunges while a human man shouted, "No pain, no planet saving." The child laughed. "Is this real?" She asked her robotic tutor. The robot's eyes glowed blue. Unknown. Records say. Legend. Probability of truth. 67%. Cool, the child said. I wanted to be like him. Which one? The robot asked. The dragon or the human? The child smiled. Both. In orbit around a dead star, an old ship floated silently. Its engines cold. Its body cracked. Dot inside. Something pulsed. A giant claw still glowing faintly red. Armor. Aged but strong. A heart. Ancient, but not dead. Dot in deep stasis. Protected by tech no longer understood. Gorish, the Flame King, slept. Not broken. Not gone. Just waiting. Above his chamber, words were burned into the metal. Woken only. When the galaxy forgets what strength really means. Far away, on a dusty training moon, the descendants of Earth had built something strange. Not a palace. Not a weapon. A gym, the size of a city. Dot inside. Aliens of every shape lifted, sprinted, roared with effort. Dot in a center courtyard stood a wall of names. Dot at the top. Jack Manson Gorash. The flame Rifferged below it. Thousands of others, warriors. Scientists, students, trainers. Dot all changed by the story. Whether real or not, no one cared. The legend had done its work, and the stars shifted. A message blinked across ancient networks. Distress call. From the edge of the galaxy. Unexplored space. Signal code. HFY. Translation. We need help. Something's coming. Bigger than war, stronger than fear. The system froze, then activated a forgotten protocol. Gorish's eyes opened. Not bright, not angry. Got just ready. He stood up slowly, his body cracking, his wings unfolding like suns being reborn. He looked toward the stars and whispered, "Jack, it's time again." Back. At the archive colony, the child watched the fire trail in the sky, a red light burning across the dark. "Is that a comet?" she asked. The robot paused, then said softly, "No, that's a warm-up